Well, good morning. Yankee Liv'n here, Brad speaking. Hey, we're about ready to start day 2 of the great tomato adventure here. As you remember, we left off yesterday putting a 16-quart stock pot full of tomato puree in the spare fridge, and we're going to pick it up from there. So why don't you guys grab yourself a cup of coffee, a donut, hey, maybe a piece of cheesecake with a little bit of cherry topping on it. Hey, that sounds great. Bring one for me too. And we'll be back in a few minutes and we'll get started. Hey, welcome back. I got the coffee. You bring me the cheesecake? Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, I figured I could lose a few pounds anyways. I'm kind of on a low-carb diet. That's all there is to that. Hey, we're going to venture on over the stove and see how the puree turned out, and hopefully get some more done today. All right, let me add here too at the same time. I gave you a little bit of information that was wrong yesterday. I had almost 30 pounds of tomatoes that I processed there, and if you take 30 pounds of tomatoes and process them the way I did, you're going to get pretty close to a 16-quart stock pot full of puree, just like we got here. Another way of looking at it, for every pound of good quality aromatase paste tomatoes, you're going to get, if you process it the way I did, removing the skin, the seeds and all that with a machine, you're going to get about 2 cups of puree. That's 2 cups of puree per 1 pound of tomatoes. So you can pretty much see it from there. This is a little under 30 pounds and I've got 16 cups. So alright, just bringing you back for a quick one. We're bringing this up to temperature. It's 3/4 of the way there. It just started bubbling a little bit a little while ago. What I like to do is I like to use a spatula or anything flat. Let's put it that way. I like to get right down to the bottom. It lays flat on the bottom. You make sure nothing sticks. Work it back and forth. Alright, she's getting pretty close now. Notice how much more of that scum comes to the top there? You're not going to get it all, but you'll notice it'll start coming to the sides as it boils. Okay, she's been to a rolling boil just like it is right now. Okay, we're going to roll it just like that. A little bit of a, it's not a hard boil, it's kind of a medium rolling boil. We're going to cook it 10 more minutes like that, and then I'm going to switch burners, put the canner over on that burner, put the other one on low on the other side, get the cans out, or the jars out I should say, and hey, we're going to be set to go. You know, when I was growing up, my grandmother was canning, and my mother didn't do much canning, but my grandmother did. She didn't have this luxury. Hey, we throw the canning jars right into the dishwasher, put it on sterilize mode, and instant we've got hot jars. Alright, we're going to do the first step. Like I said, this is basically a crushed tomato or tomato puree. It looks a little thin in the thing, but it actually thickens up in the jar a little bit and whatnot. It's about the same thickness if you took a jar of these that my not my granddaughter, but my daughter-in-law made, and you stuck these in a blender, it'd be about the same thicknesses of that when it cooled down. So anyways, let's get here. We got some jars down here. I think I'm going to get about, and these are hot. Okay, we have the little grabbers here, white vinegar, lemon juice, canning salt, and use canning salt. Don't use anything with iodized, it'll cloud up your product. What do you call that thing? Oh, funnel, that's right. The little magnetic catchy thing here to pull this out of there and whatnot. Of course, your scoop in there. And before I forget it, I've already added it, but in your canner, let's take this off too, by the way. In your canner, make sure that you put a little white vinegar in there. That helps your jars from getting all cloudy on the outside and whatnot. Okay, now before I forget it, this is what I like to do. And like I say, this process is just the way I like to do it. If you do it another way, that's fine. But this is how I do it. Half a teaspoon of salt in each jar. I only do it right now because I will forget it if I don't, and I've done it many times, trust me. Okay? A full teaspoon of insurance. A lot of people say, oh, it's high acid fluids. It is. You know, tomatoes nowadays are, a lot of them are bred for low acid. Whoops, I didn't get quite enough in that one. This is just a kind of an assurance to bring that acid level to the point where water bath canning is going to work no problem, and you're not going to have any problems down the road. All right, and like I say, this is just the way that I do it. I always go all the way to the bottom. Take your ladle, whatever you're going to scoop it out with, give it a good stir, bring your product up from the bottom. If you keep taking off the top, you're going to find that the stuff at the bottom is going to be thicker. So bring it up from the bottom, okay? It's hot, so be careful. Before I forget it, it's a 1/2 inch headway space. Okay. The little ridge on the bottom there is a full inch. If you bring it up to just about to the blue container, let's try. That makes it handy right there, that little ridge there. It saves you from going down in. Let's see how we did. Yeah. Right at the very bottom of this particular funnel is the 1/2 inch mark. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to do this one here. Wipe the rim nice and clean. Okay, somebody asked me, well, why do you put the lids in there too? Well, I'll tell you why you put the lids in there. It has anything to do with sanitation, but if you know anything about metals expanding and everything, if you put a cold lid on a hot thing, I'll tell you, I guarantee you that that will loosen up after a while when in the middle of canning. So you want both metal products and jar to be pretty much the same temperature, and they'll stay. Finger tight only, guys. You know how that goes. And we're going to go directly into the canner. Okay. Let's do one more. You know how this goes. There's no sense in me going over this over and over again with you. I'll tell you, you couldn't get much simpler than this, other than trying to stay not quite so messy. Get her up to about right there. Okay. Yep. Right there. The easiest, the best thing to do is try to stay organized, guys. Keep your stuff in the same spot. It's a repetitive motion. That's all there is to it. Whoa, that is warm. Okay. And off to the can of the second one. I'll do one more, and then I'm going to shut that thing down so I can crank these right out. How's that? You guys still sipping on coffee and cheesecake? Well. Hey, while I'm thinking of it and I'm doing this, don't forget to leave some comments. You know, tell me what some of the favorite things you guys like to can. You know, hey, share the channel with a friend. If you're not a subscriber and you just happen to be viewing in for the first time, hey, and you like what you're seeing, hit that old subscribe button, and hey, we got much more coming. All right. You know what I didn't do? I don't think I did the lid on that last one I put in there. I'm going to double check it. When in doubt, check it out, guys. That's all there is to it. More than likely it was sealed, but you want to check things out. That was this one right here. And we're going to hot, hot, hot. Hot. We will dip that down in this nice hot water. Give that a nice wipe. Yeah. Like I said, it's repetitive motion, guys. If you guys set up and do the the same motions all the time, you'll forget less. I'll put the next jar in. I'll give you that shot there. How's that? We'll get all professional. Yeah, right. Like that will ever happen. Oh, like I say, there's a lot of canning videos out there. There's a lot of people that do canning, you know, and they make wonderful, wonderful videos. And I will never be at that level, I guarantee you that. But I'll tell you one thing, I'll always have fun with it. Okay, next can, or jar I should say. Alright guys, when we get the rest of them all in there, we will come back. Well, we got 10 pints, I'm sorry, 10 pints in there. We filled up some more hot water to make sure it's an inch or two above the jars. We're going to bring this to a rolling boil, put the cover on it. Once it gets to that rolling boil, we're going to time it. I do believe, don't quote me on this, but I think it's 35 minutes. But like I say, don't quote me on it. Do your research, guys. Anyways, let's get this cooking and I'll be back in a bit. And while I was waiting to get the canner off the stove there and ran down to the hen house, grabbed the eggs, they're all ready to wash. Alright guys, we're back and you can hear that. That is the timer going off. Now, what you do here is first, turn the burner off. Second, very carefully, very carefully, take it off the burner. Lift slightly before dragging. Okay? Once it's off the burner, take the cover off. Do not take the jars out, but take the cover off. There, cover's off. We'll leave it there 10 or 15 minutes like that. Then we'll take the jars out. Your tongs, your can tongs, come straight up. I see a lot of people trying to dump that water off the side. I'll tell you, I think if your can is not sealed yet, and you dump that off the side and there's pressure in that, I think you lose a little content on the side, and I think it's a contributor to some cans that don't seal. What I do is I don't dump it, I come straight up, straight over. So there you go. This is the basic sauce. Now you would take this sauce and use it like, see, it's not cooked down as much as a regular sauce, so you would take this as more like a crushed tomato like you buy in the store, or puree. If you was cooking some hamburger down and you wanted to make some chili or something that's going to be cooked continuous on further, then you'd use this product. You're better off using this and let the flavors develop with your chili than to put tomato sauce in that's already cooked down, and then it's just, you know, condensing even more, and well, the flavors don't balance at all. To me, if you're going to cook something longer, use this type of product. If you're going to cook something shorter, use a tomato sauce that is cooked down. But anyways, hey, we'll catch you guys tomorrow, and we'll show you the next step of this tomato venture. Like I said before, I have the pot over here on the stove and it is still coming down. I've got about another inch to go, and we'll take it from there. So like I always say, hey, wherever you are in your neck of the woods, be it morning, noon, or night, you guys have yourself a good one. We'll catch you later.